And we're live, and we're live. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of Comic Shop Talk Live, brought to you by Black Hat Comics and Rock and Milpitas, your one-stop shop for all things superhero. Shop online at black-cat-comics.com. We're keeping you connected to the comic book community. I'm Mark.
I'm Francie.
And we've got a great show for you today. Going to talk some Infinite Frontier from DC Comics. A lot of moving and shaking going on at DC Comics. Going to talk some Keanu Reeves and some Berserker, because that's the biggest, hottest book of the week, I'm sure. All kinds of fun stuff going on. It's an interactive show. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you're reading this week, what you might have read last week, what you're looking forward to reading next week.
What's top of the stack?
That's exactly right. So thanks for joining us. Always like to start the show with a little comic shop news. Comic shop news. Black Cat news. So as everybody knows, vaccination is a thing. The vaccines are rolling out. Sports stadiums are getting opened up. Disneyland is coming back. Our home away from home. And we're real excited about that. So, of course, here in Rock and Milpitas, that means that we got to start thinking and talking about what reopening looks like here. We've been all shuttered up inside for a year now, and it's going to be time to let you folks back in. Of course, once we get our shots and you've had your shots and all that good stuff. But we're thinking about it, talking about it, making some plans. We're real excited about that. Would love more news soon. Would love your feedback, what you've thought about everything we've done over the past year and what the future might look like.
Yeah. What you want us to keep, what you want us to change. We could appreciate your feedback.
Do you want to keep doing these curbsides even after we're open? All that kind of stuff. Let us know. Good fun. Always looking for your feedback.
Yes.
And in other Black Cat news.
So Monday, we're taking Black Cat Chronicles to the printer.
Yeah.
It is gorgeous. I'm in tears over its awesomeness. So Nate Olson, keep an eye out for that name. He's going to be huge. We discovered him here, Black Cat Comics, huge. So giving back and forth after the proof, my guess is within the next 2 weeks, hopefully we'll have the printed version in our hot little hands. And so we'll start shipping as soon as it looks good and we have them ready to go. We've got the sticker ready, the bookmark ready, the print ready. We're ready. We're just waiting on some last minute tweaks. And we should have that all done and ready for the printer on Monday.
And it goes off to the printer. We get the proof back. We give the final okay. Then we get it back and it gets into your little paws. And we're very, very excited about that. We couldn't be happier with how it looks and reads and whatever. We think you're going to be really excited about it.
Yeah.
It's a great comic.
Mm-hmm.
Fun stuff. Looking forward to that. And as we'll keep you updated next week as well, let you know when it's actually shipping. For those of you who weren't part of the Kickstarter and haven't picked up your issue yet, you can pre-order your copy at black-cat-publishing.com and at the Black Cat Comics store.
It goes to the same spot.
It does. So go ahead and get your order in because it's going to be awesome and you're going to want one of those first prints.
Yeah, and we'll have the PDF version ready a little bit earlier. So we'll email those out to those that ordered those ahead of time.
Super excited about that. Black Cat Chronicles, #1. So that's about Black Cat news. Again, every week, I can't even start talking about WandaVision because spoilers just they pop out of me like the kid that plays Spider-Man. But my goodness, how awesome was that? If you're an Avengers fan like me, you just loved every single minute of it. If you knew nothing about anything, you probably still loved every minute of it. Brilliant television, I thought. Great show. Thank you so much, Marvel. And I'm very excited about Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Make sure you watch all the way to the very, very, very end of the last episode. There's two little Easter eggs. Two little spots.
The reveal again. I'm not saying anything about anything, but
just
wow.
Watch it until it stops playing.
And it's, one of my favorite things, and I've said this to a bunch of people, but I'll throw it out there anyway, just to kind of wrap this up.
Not spoil a thing.
That's right, Marco. There's a million things I love about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like all of us. One of my personal favorite things, and every movie and every show that they've done, everything they've done has been a great example of this. As a longtime old school hardcore Marvel fan, they give us, it's all new. I didn't know what was going to happen in WandaVision. I know the characters, I know the stories, but it was all new to me. I didn't know what was going to happen. But I had a vague idea of what was supposed to happen, or thematically. What am I getting at? Marvel gives us the feeling of those characters. They aren't telling us, it's not panel for panel, word for word, the comic that we read. It's not a duplication of these stories, but the characters are the same. The feeling that you're left with at the end of each movie, at the end of each whatever, is the same feeling you were left with when you read the book. They don't talk about Bova the Cow Woman, because Bova the Cow Woman does not work in live action by any stretch of the imagination. But they give you this little Easter egg of the Bova dairy, so that I know that they read the stuff, they know the source material, and they're saying, hey, cause we couldn't work Bova the Cow Woman into the story, but we are aware of Bova the Cow Woman. Check this out. And that was really cool. So like I say, that was the Wanda Maximoff I've known all my life there on the screen, and that was really cool. And again, they've done that with Doctor Strange, they've done it with everybody, and I think that's a real accomplishment for them, bringing the feel of comics onto the screen. And to that point, characters. That's why it's serialized. That's why they don't dump all 8 episodes on you at once. That's why they make you suffer at the end, wait, and then get the next episode, because that's what makes comics fun. That's what makes it exciting, and they know that's what makes it exciting for the show too.
Cliffhangers.
So that's my WandaVision bit. So get Disney Plus if you don't have it. These shows are awesome.
It's worth the money.
So that's that.
Yeah.
Good. Now let's move on to comics. And again, want to know what you're reading? Want to know what's at the top of your stack this week?
Yeah. What'd you guys like this week?
The big important DC this week. Do you want to start us off? I'm already talking too much.
Sure. Yeah. You want to start with DC?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, there's Batman Resume with Batman 106 and James Tynion the Fourth.
That's the one I don't have here.
It's right here.
Oh, well, there you go.
Ta-da. So it picks up, I believe, where it left off. I haven't read it, honestly, but it is back in action. Batman's back in action. We've got a couple of new number ones. We've got Sensational Wonder Woman, which, if you look at it, it's got some really great 2 different styles of art, kind of like what Strange Adventures is. There's kind of a dream state art, and then there's a reality art. So I want to show you one version. This is kind of the dream state, no spoilers. And then this other panel, which is amazeballs. This is like the action-packed stuff.
Cool.
Hopefully it's not spoiling too much. And the flavor of this, I just skimmed it real quick because I didn't have a lot of time to read yet this week. Speaking of Wanda, it feels a little like dreamlike state, like what Diana would love to have as part of her reality, but she's a hero. She doesn't get that. And then we've got Swamp Thing, which I believe is a continuation from the Future State stuff. Mm-hmm. And it feels like, I just, again, skimmed it a couple pages. Horror, creepy, weird. It starts with maggots, so that's always good if you're a horror fan. And death and a legend, spooky legend. And this is not your Alec Holland Swamp Thing. It's somebody else from the Future State universe. I don't want to spoil anything. So it's a different take. I would, if you're a Swamp Thing fan, I would just kind of put a pause on all that on Swamp Thing and just read this fresh, like it's a brand new character, brand new storyline, and just pick it up from there and see if you enjoy it. If you pick it up thinking it's the same old, Alec Holland Swamp Thing, you're probably going to be a little disappointed. The art's really cool, though. I really enjoy it. This is a great shot.
Ooh, that is a great shot.
Kind of Kelly Jones-ish in its depth of shadow. So good stuff there. Ram V, great writer, and Perkins is the artist for that. The other DC #1, I believe, is Suicide Squad. And Crime Syndicate.
Mm-hmm.
Suicide Squad, Crime Syndicate. You got those.
I've got all of them.
Okay.
We're gonna blow through them right now.
Over to you.
So you that's kind of why I wanted you to go first. So you could give the segue into my many
and then you
spiels.
can fill in the blanks.
Okay. Well, because you touched on a couple of very important things, which is the #1s and give them a try, which is the gist of this. So this big meaty thing is Infinite Frontier #0. This is the one that picks up right after last week's Generation Forged or Dark Knight Death Metal, or picks up from nothing at all, just starts as #0s do. Love wraparound covers. I love wraparound covers. Okay, so everybody knows this is all over the internet. It's a big deal. Okay. I emphasize that it's not some New 52 massive universal-wide reboot. It's more of like a rebirth, kind of soft reset, jump-in point. So big things happened in Generation Forge that I won't spoil. Obviously, a lot was going on in Future State. But this is your jump-in point. This is your, hey, everybody that's not reading DC Comics, describes a little bit of what's going on. Hey, everybody that is reading DC Comics, here's a little tour through a lot of what's going to be going on. I love this book, first of all, let me say. And there's a lot of important reasons why everybody should cough up the $5.99, probably $6.99 for the cardstock to pick this up. Again, it takes you through all the different books that they're going to be doing, but it's a cool little anthology with all kinds of different art styles and
it's cool.
Different writers, different artists.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, I can't show you that page.
Spoiler.
Spoiler. Big stuff happens in this book, but like I say, it's all kinds of different things. And getting back to what you said, a little bit of this is going to be the characters as always, Batman, whatever. A little bit of this is going to be some of your Future State characters like Nubia, like Swamp Thing. But I really encourage everybody to pick this up and give it a read. To either have some understanding of where DC is going with their different titles, and or there's going to be 1 or 3 or 7 of the stories in here that make you go, wow, that's really cool. I want to see the next issue of that, which is, of course, the whole point. But I thought it was really good, and it was a fun read. Obviously, like all anthologies and like all launch things, you're not going to love every single thing, but it'll probably turn you on to something cool.
And not to be confused with New Frontier.
Not to be confused with.
Not at all related.
Well, I think there's much like their use of Crisis all the time. I think there is a subtle inference. The use of Frontier was deliberate. It doesn't tie into New Frontier, but there's this idea that every DC fan read New Frontier or saw the movie, and so when they say Frontier, every DC fan will have some.
That's the DCU I want to see. The New Frontier stuff. That was just perfection.
Well, I think
Darwin Cook. Oh,
he was perfection.
Genius.
And I think that's the idea is that they use Crisis all the time because crisis. That's a great word for superheroes. Crisis. But now the idea of Frontier is opposite of Crisis, right? Frontier says
new adventure,
endless forward. And well, I won't read too much into that. So, which brings us a whole mess of #1s, like she said. And similarly, I always encourage guys, mostly with the Image books, I encourage folks to check out those #1s because you never know what you're going to like. Crime Syndicate is basically the evil JLA on Earth 3. If you ever saw episodes of Justice League Unlimited or, I don't know, Crime Syndicate shows up a lot. And the aforementioned sensational Wonder Woman, a whole brand new take on Suicide Squad, new team, new purpose, new everything, same old high risks, and Swamp Thing. So lots of new #1s. Some of your DC books, your classic DC stuff will continue, but with new creative teams and bold new direction. So it's just a great time over the next few weeks to be checking out some DC stuff. Pick up that Infinite Frontier. It's a little amuse-bouche of comics, if you know what I'm talking about. And then there's all of this week's number ones. Next week we get Batman Urban Legends. We get the Joker number one. Everybody's waiting for Joker number one because it's so awesome to see him back in his own book. I'm just getting at, as I've already said, it's a great jump in time for DC Comics. You don't have to know anything about all this different stuff, but try stuff out. As I said last week, don't listen to the internet. Don't listen to me. Check the book out. Read the book. Experience it for yourself. Decide for yourself. Like the new 52 launch, like all the times DC does this sort of thing, it's a wide range of books with a wide range of characters and creative teams and all kinds of stuff. So you will find a book that you like. And like she said about Swamp Thing, I would encourage you to not be too married to your original version of things. Be willing to check out the new Wonder Woman, the new Swamp Thing, the new whatever it is. That being said, because I think that's where the give and take is. It's my job as a fan to try any new number one, to give things a chance. It's their job as the creators and the publishers and the editors and the whoever to produce something you're going to like. You don't know you're going to like it until you check it out. So check it out. But hey, if you don't like the number one, don't buy number two. It's that simple. Like I say, it's your job to try it. It's their job to get you to like it and to get you to keep reading it. But like I say, do your part and at least check out the first ones, anything that might seem interesting. Some of them are minis. Crime Syndicate's only running 6. Some of them are going to be ongoing like Suicide Squad. But it's if you love comics, it's always a good time to try out something new, to jump into something new, find a new artist, a new writer, a new creator. And it's a really good time to do that with DC stuff. And like I say, if you're not that adventurous, your regular issues of Action Comics, Wonder Woman, Justice League will all be rolling out as well over the next few weeks now that all the Future State stuff has ended.
There's one more coming. Number 3, Lex Luthor,
Imperious Lex versus,
something.
Superman versus Imperious Lex.
That's it.
But that's like a few weeks away.
Yeah. Good
stuff. And in fact, like all of these DC number ones, going to be talking quite a few number ones today. Because a little like we've been saying during the publisher sales and different things, always encouraging comic folks to try something new, something fun, something different, something exciting.
I have to handle a customer.
She keeps getting pulled away to customer service. So I will move on to speaking of the number ones I have to talk about, which is this guy, Berserker. Again, you've seen it all over the internet. You've seen the little videos. Everybody loves Keanu Reeves. Everybody loves John Wick. So Keanu got his own comic over at Boom Studios, and it's super awesome.
This is Francie.
Berserker makes me wish Keanu Reeves had started writing comics sooner.
Hey, sorry for all the hassle.
Yes, Daniel. Daniel's talking about Berserker, and he's talking about Noctera, which is I'm gonna get to in just a minute. So let's see. Keanu Reeves, Matt Kent, Ron Garney is the artist on this. Big fan of Ron Garney going back to his Captain America days.
I'm ready for you.
This book does 2 things. One, of course, it's everything that they're hyping it up to be. It's Keanu Reeves writing a comic. It's action adventure. It's all these things. And a little bit to the conversation, it's also a first issue from Boom Studios. So if you don't know a whole lot about Boom Studios, here's a cool in. You pick up Berserker, you like this, you're like, hey, if they do this, maybe they do something else that I think is cool. And it might send you to check out other Boom Studios books. The indie guys always have some sort of licensed property material, but they also always have a cool creator-owned things. Boom does them, IDW does them, everybody does them. Phil says, not a fan of a movie star like Keanu. He's not writing. He's writing comics. Well, you know some of movie stars in comics. I like people that can bring more attention to comics and bring more notoriety to the medium. It's very easy for the movie stars to sell video games or whatever. But someone like Keanu Reeves can bring in folks that wouldn't normally come into comic stores and check stuff out. So I'm fully in support of that. So again, it's a new, fun first issue to check out. Let me show you some of that cool Ron Garney art in a non-spoiler, cool action adventure. Lots of action adventure. Again, my man Ron Garney did Captain America a while back. He's been around for a long time, Ron Garney. Does great stuff. It's a good team. And it's a good book. So, like I say, it's a cool first issue from Boom Studios. Obviously, lots of different covers to check out. That's the A cover. Always like to show the A cover. Good stuff. So pick up Berserker from Boom Studios.
It was good. I liked it.
Show the gore. I didn't mean to. It was just the least spoilerific page. This book is very gory. It is extremely violent. Francie said it's something like Punisher meets Wolverine. Boy, you're just customer service action-packed today. Okay, so again, you can find the cool video on our Facebook page, the one shopped around by Boom Studios. But just pick up the book. You're going to dig it.
Everybody my mask.
Yeah. Hello, Jack. Do you want to say something about Berserker?
I do. It's like Vandal Savage meets Wolverine.
Ooh.
That's pretty much what it is. That's all you need to know. It's good. You know, I'm going to be really honest. Here I go. You ready? The writing's great. It was super fun to read. For Kickstarter, they earned $1 million they raised for this comic.
It's a lot more than we raised for our Kickstarter.
It's a fraction. So I was expecting a really high bar for the art. And I have to say, parts of the art kind of let me down a little bit. I'm like, really? This is Keanu Reeves' like debut? Like, no offense, but I think our comic art, Nate, is a little bit better than.
I was just hyping up Ron Garney.
I know, I just undercut him. That's what I do. I come in, I pull the rug out from underneath him. But yeah, no, it's a great story. It's a fun read. You've got to be you have to be okay with a little bit stylized art, a little bit rough art, not super realistic art. And if you're totally fine with that, then you will have no problems at all.
Or as Arnell says, just show us the gore.
I wash my hands.
But so in that vein, I will mention, as Daniel mentioned, Noctera #1. Another cool #1. This one from Image Comics. Another top-tier team, Scott Snyder and Tony Daniel. Everybody knows Scott Snyder. Most people know Tony Daniel. If you don't, you should. If you watch the Wednesday video, you hear me say every single week, talk about those first issue Image books, always encouraging folks to grab those first issue Image books. And for the same reasons that I'm talking about all these other things. Because if you like what they do at Marvel, then you'll like what they do at Image. If you like their DC book, you'll like their creator-owned stuff. And Image and a lot of these other publishers do things that you won't see from the other gang, that Marvel and DC just won't do. They can get edgier. They can get, I don't know, more out there or whatever have you. And so, again, as I always talk about, it's fun to check out new issues. If you don't like it, great. If you like it, then you got turned on to a whole new title. And Image does these all the time. Can't go too deep in the book. I just want to show you. So there you go. That's what Tony Daniel does.
I love Tony Daniel.
Tony Daniel makes you feel like you're there.
It's Daniels, isn't it?
No.
Oh, it's Daniel.
He's one of those guys that makes it a movie on the page. And I really dig that. Great stuff. And of course, I'm a big sci-fi fan anyway, but again, just another, if you're a hardcore Marvel person, hardcore DC person, whoever you are, just fun to pick up a new first issue and see what that publisher does, what
if you
those
like
creators
Scott
do.
Snyder, you gotta read it.
Yeah, for sure. And while I'm on a roll, I'll just wrap up this topic by showing you another first issue from Aftershock Comics. Again, like Boom Studios, or like any
Nice,
other
Daniel.
publisher that has a first issue, just gives you an opportunity to check out a cool book and see what that publisher does. And if you like that book, maybe you'll like other things the publisher does.
Daniel said the villain in Noctera was the first comic villain to give him the chills in a long time. Nice.
That is nice.
Even more than the creepy guy in Department of Truth, Daniel. That guy's crazy creepy.
That's high praise, Daniel.
It is high
That's high
praise.
praise. There are two things I always say make a great comic, superhero comic, and that's one of them. The villain in your comic should be genuinely villainous, should be genuinely scary. If your villain is not genuinely scary to the reader, then they're just another villain than their Ringman or whoever, and you got to try a little harder. Second, and this is more very specific, a great Joker story always has a line that makes you laugh out loud at something that's not funny. The best Joker stories, he says something and you laugh, and then you kind of feel dirty inside for laughing at that. And I could give examples, but that's not what I'm here to talk about right now. But thank you, Daniel. Yes, I like to say I love a great villain. That's the key to superhero comics. Undone by Blood is a Western. We don't see enough Westerns in comics. I love Westerns. They give us Lone Ranger once in a while. East of West ran for quite a while, and that was really cool. But we don't get enough Westerns. Aftershock does really great genre comics, like Westerns, like sci-fi, like horror. They do all kinds of things outside of the superhero stuff. So again, pick up Undone by Blood if you like Westerns. If you like the book, check out some other things that Aftershock does, because that's how good publishers work. If you like something that they do, like back in the day, I picked up a Solar Man of the Atom, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. What else does Valiant do? Next thing you know, I'm reading Magnus and Turok and Exo, and I'm still reading Valiant to this day. So good stuff.
Yeah, or now the Joker movie with the locked door. That was dark. Yeah. So speaking of Joker, there's a new Joker #1 coming out next Wednesday with James Tynion IV as the writer. So be on the lookout for that.
Yep, that and Batman Urban Legends.
Oh yeah. That's coming out too.
Another anthology book.
Yeah.
Rolling out.
The only other thing I've got top of my stack this week is Miskatonic #4. So Lovecraft, FBI, 20s, crime, weird reptilian, alien, creepy stuff. So right up my alley.
Reptilian, alien stuff.
Well, I mean, I don't know that they're alien. Maybe they've been here longer than us.
Maybe.
Maybe we're the aliens.
Most reptiles have.
It's true. It's true.
Good stuff.
That's all I got.
You know me, I can go on and on, but the last one I had to talk about was Demon Days XMen #1. And I mentioned this for two reasons. One, another thing I say in the Wednesday video just about every week is to check out an X-Men book. Like always, there are 17 different X-Men books to choose from. You will find one that you think is cool. X-Men Wolverine, New Mutants are on fire. Everybody's picking up those. Hellions, Marauders, all these others, and they all have different creative teams, different characters, a different theme. But they're selling really well. People really dig them, so this one is a new first issue. The second reason I mention it, everybody has been picking up everything from Peach Momoko, and everybody's in love with their art, and that's great. To be 200% honest, I don't know if they're male, female. I would guess Peach is a female, but these days you shouldn't speculate. So, but they're writing this one, and that makes that really awesome. People who write and draw comics are very rare. People who do it well are even more rare.
Liam Sharp, look him up.
Off the top of my head, there's John Byrne, Frank Miller,
David Lapham,
Mike
Mignola.
Mike Mignola doesn't do a lot of his own writing.
He did in the beginning.
Yeah, but generally speaking. So what I mean is, of the thousands of creators I can name off the top of my head, I can't really name too many that do a great job of writing and drawing. And it's really neat to see people embark on that. And frankly,
a lot of work.
It's cool to see Marvel allow them to do that. Because, you know, like I say, it's a little bit risky. XMen is their top thing. And what's neat is it gives creators an opportunity to demonstrate their own world without influence of the other creator, without influence too much from the editor and whatnot. And like I say, oftentimes over the years, it hasn't worked out all that well. And the fan base is left saying, you should stick to writing. Or as somebody once told, as Joe Quesada told Brian Michael Bendis, see, the problem here is that you're not an artist.
Same story with Bill Willingham. He was an artist first and turned writer.
Marcus argues that Bill Willingham is one of the best pencilers there is, but it just turns out that he's an even better writer. But anywho, Peach Momoko doing the writing and the art in a comic is really cool.
And yes, Arnell, I can't remember the two artists' names, but the person who did Wonder Woman Dead Earth, writer and artist, same thing with Harleen. Harleen was just a masterpiece, wasn't it? It was just gorgeous. The words, the pacing, it was just perfection. So Harleen, if you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's great. Three issue big prestige format book from the DC Black Label series. It was really, really well done. And
there's lots of reasons why that's harder than it seems. It's easy to say that a creator shouldn't do both. Maybe they're a really good artist and they're maybe not such a great writer. That's easy to say, but more often than not, I think what happens is comics is meant to be collaborative. The best comics are when 2, 3, 5, 12 people get together and create something really great. One person can't make a movie, one person can't make a TV show, and then maybe one person shouldn't make a comic book because they get too lost in their own singular vision and lose the ability to translate that to the viewer, to the reader, to what have you. But in rare cases, the exact opposite can be true. Yeah, and obviously, John Byrne is my guy. John Byrne, Fantastic Four is the greatest thing ever because that singular vision can be absolutely brilliant, untainted by the influence of others.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Do you know off the top of your head if Liam Sharp's Brave and the Bold is collected? So good.
I'll go with probably, but if it is, it's out of print. It probably was collected. A collection probably exists, but I would doubt that it's available. With the move to Lunar and all of that.
Right at that weird timing.
Currently, there's a lot of stuff that is out of print from Marvel, DC, and a lot of other guys.
Same thing with the Harleen and like the Black Label books. Are they collecting those big prestige format stuff?
No, I don't think there's any intention to do collection. Maybe hardcovers at some point, but like we haven't seen. I guess they did one for Batman Damned.
Yeah, I was gonna say they collected Batman Damned,
but we haven't seen one for a lot of the other stuff. I would guess not, just because of the format and the different things. I don't. That would be. I think they want you to
it'd be cost prohibitive.
Well, they aren't going to make oversized collections like that.
Yeah, the hardcovers. Yeah.
But they probably shrink them to the regular size. They don't do them in the. And I haven't seen anything in trade paperback. That Black Label stuff's really good. That's good. So, what's at the top of your stack? What are you reading? What are you liking? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, hardcovers are out there.
What's as you say, unfortunately, I didn't get to quite through my reading. I would love to talk about that King in Black Captain America because I like anything Captain America. We've
had a really great problem of late, which is we've been really busy with calls and orders and calls, and website stuff and shipping things. So poor Kazi's here, been here 10 hours, just like ringing stuff up. So we haven't had time to read comics, which is a nice problem to have. Oh, they are oversized. Nice. Yeah, thanks for
Interesting.
catching up on Venom.
Yes, Arnell's
King
talking
in
about
Black.
King in Black. So I'm glad you mentioned that because, as I say, there were 5 King in Black books today. One of them being Wiccan. That's my WandaVision plug, really quick and simple.
Yeah.
But King in Black has been really great. King in Black has been my kind of event for 2 reasons. One, I love when it sucks me in, even though I have no reason to read it and don't even want to. I'm not a Spider-Man guy. I'm not a Venom guy. There's none of that. That is stuff that I read, not because I don't like it, but just because I read all kinds of other stuff and so like that. But I read King in Black number 1. It was awesome, and it totally sucked me in.
The art's solid.
The art was solid. The story was genuinely gripping. Just like Daniel said earlier, the villain was truly scary. It was the first time in a lot of events that I genuinely felt there was a real threat to my heroes. It was really fun. And then the side books were also good. Another thing I say all the time in the Wednesday videos, you don't have to read all the side books. You don't have to spend $100 a week when they do this. Just read the core book. If you like Captain America, read the Captain America. But if you did decide that you were going to pick up Wiccan, if you picked up King in Black Thunderbolts, if you picked up Symbiote Spider-Man, Gwenom, you probably liked it. The art was really solid. Again, the villains were really cool. It's a very well done event.
Given the talent involved and the art and the storyline, I'm really surprised that it's not selling better for us. Like, our numbers are way lower than it should be for a book like that. So if you're listening to this, if you're interested in anything that Kazi just said, you might want to just pick up the first issue because it's solid stuff.
It is. Like I say, the art's been really
It's
good. The villains are cool. It's establishing a lot. It's a fun read. Like I say, just that's how events are supposed to be. If you don't want to spend $1 million, you don't have to by any stretch. But if you got the money and you got the time, then check that stuff out.
Daniel, yes, I have to do this so I can see the rest of your comments. Not to sound like a broken record, but the reveal at the end of the last issue of Department of Truth blew me away. Dude, right? So creepy. I also love the change in the art style for the issue and the exploration of the director's history. Yes, agreed.
And again, that's another great example. I'll join you in sounding like a broken record, Daniel. That's the fun of reading those first issue Image books. I'm a total Marvel guy. I'm a total superhero guy. There's no superheroes in Department of it, but you pick up a book, it sucks you in, and it's awesome. Just because it's not like the other stuff I read doesn't mean I won't like it. And that's what I dig about those Image books. That's what I dig about King in Black. Again, if you like comics, you owe it to yourself to check out a first issue once in a while and be ready for them to wow you like that.
Yep.
Big Remo's saying trade paperbacks are becoming just as sought after as some first appearances. Strangely enough, that's true. And I'll tell you, it's all about print run, man. Yeah. It's all about print run and supply and demand, the good old classics. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, especially now with Lunar taking over the distribution and printing of, not the printing, but you know what I mean, the distribution of DC Comics. DC's trades are very spotty, what's available. So it's creating kind of a scarcity in the marketplace right now.
And you can get on Amazon and find some trade paperbacks going for some big money. Sometimes, as you say, sometimes the collected edition goes for more than the first comic. And a lot of people don't understand that. But like I say, it's just about print run and supply and demand. If you want it, you can't get it. You got to pay for it.
Right.
And that's the nature of comics.
Yes.
Good times. So yeah, like I say, there's lots of good things. It's a very, very small week this week, but as you've seen, still lots of great stuff to talk about.
Kind of a small week next week too. I was just looking at the list.
Kind of a small week, which again brings me back to, hey, if it's a small week and your main books aren't out that week, pick up something new. Pick up Batman Urban Legends, pick up Joker. Pick
There's
up an
a
X-Men book.
nonstop Spider-Man also.
Nonstop Spider-Man. I'm looking
One.
forward to that. Because again, just like I said about King of Black, not necessarily a big Spider-Man fan, but when he's great, he's great. And this book has a really neat theme. It's all right there in the title. They're promising a fast-paced book. Action, action, action. It's what Spider-Man's all about. It's a good time for this sort of thing, as we're talking about all kinds of new books, all kinds of first issues. We've been talking about it for a few weeks with the publisher sales and different things. It's just a good time for things like Vault and Scout and
AWA.
Aftershock and AWA. There's new publishers coming into the game with great talent and great books. There's all the top talent and great books from the big two, from the big four that we've always known and loved. Spawn is making a huge comeback.
Spawn's all of his launch in June, his 4 titles.
I've been reading about how WandaVision and some of this other stuff is getting people back into comics or getting people into comics.
Our sales have gone up.
Our sales are climbing. It's like I say, it's a good time to get into comics. It's a good time to try some new things. Good time to get back to some old favorites.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll begin to wrap it up. Like I say, throw out your last questions, comments, queries, concerns. We'll address them. So every Wednesday I post a video, Facebook, YouTube, talks about what's out that week. Go to black-cat-comics.com, sign up for the newsletter, and you can read all about the fun stuff that goes on in the store and read about our reviews for the week. Then you pick up your books, you read them through the week, you tune back Saturday, 2 o'clock, Facebook, YouTube, for Comic Shop Talk Live.
Yep.
From Black Cat Comics and Rockin' Milpitas.
I'm going to have to take a little hiatus the rest of this month because I'm teaching every Saturday starting next week. So apologies for leaving you on your own. You guys are going to have to be more interactive with him because he'll be going solo.
I was going to say, apologize to them, not me. They're the ones who will have to listen to me nonstop for 45 minutes every week.
They love it.
Yes, tune in, get your questions and comments and concerns ready because otherwise it's just me.
I'll give him my note to the things I'm reading that week.
Good stuff. So, yeah, you can find us here every Saturday. You can find us at black-cat-comics.com, Facebook, YouTube, all those fun things.
We got a Wiccan and Hulking book, but WandaVision makes me want a Wiccan and Speed book. Nice.
Yes, I'm... they won't give us WandaVision season 2, but I sure hope they do. Yeah, again, I can't talk about it or I'll spoil something. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Have a great week.